The notion that the mainstream media uses global warming to oppress Christians is a complex and multifaceted issue. On the surface, it may seem like a far-fetched claim, but upon closer examination, it reveals a subtle yet insidious pattern of bias and manipulation. The mainstream media, often driven by a liberal and secular agenda, has been accused of selectively presenting information on global warming to further its own ideological goals, which can be perceived as repressive to Christian values and principles. One way the media achieves this is by perpetuating a narrative that equates skepticism about global warming with ignorance, backwardness, and even malicious intent. Christians, in particular, are often portrayed as being at odds with scientific facts and as obstacles to progress. This caricature is perpetuated through biased reporting, while Christians who question the severity or causes of global warming are mocked, ridiculed, or ignored. By contrast, those who embrace the prevailing narrative on global warming are lionized as enlightened, forward-thinking, and compassionate. This dichotomy creates a false narrative that pits Christians against the scientific community and the broader society, fostering an us versus them mentality that can be alienating and oppressive. Furthermore, the media's focus on global warming has led to subtle yet pervasive secularization of the environmental debate. The emphasis on human-caused climate change and the need for drastic collective action to mitigate its effects has created a moral imperative that competes with traditional Christian values. The media presents the fight against global warming as a sacred cause with its own set of dogmas, rituals, and moral certainties. This can be seen as a form of eco-spirituality that displaces or co-opts Christian teachings and principles, particularly those related to stewardship, creation care, and the role of human beings in the natural world. By framing the environmental debate in exclusively secular terms, the media marginalizes Christian perspectives and reinforces the notion that faith is incompatible with reason, science, and progress. The media's handling of global warming has also been criticized for its alarmism and sensationalism, which can be seen as a form of psychological manipulation. The constant barrage of dire predictions, catastrophic scenarios, and emotive appeals can create a sense of existential dread, anxiety, and powerlessness among Christians and non-Christians alike. This can be particularly oppressive for Christians, who are taught to trust in God's sovereignty and providence, yet are bombarded with messages that imply the very survival of humanity is at stake. The media's obsession with climate change has created a culture of fear, where dissenting voices are silenced and critical thinking is discouraged. By presenting a simplistic, binary narrative that pits believers against deniers, the media reinforces a form of groupthink that stifles nuanced discussion and delegitimizes Christian perspectives. Moreover, the media's emphasis on global warming has led to a form of eco-pantheism, where the natural world is elevated to a position of reverence and worship. This can be seen as a form of idolatry, where the creation is prioritized over the creator, and human beings are reduced to mere stewards or caretakers of the planet. Christians, who believe in the inherent value and dignity of human life, created in the image of God, may find this narrative oppressive, as it diminishes the unique status and role of human beings in the world. By presenting the natural world as a self-contained, autonomous system, the media reinforces a worldview that is at odds with Christian teaching, which emphasizes the interdependence of human beings in the natural world, as well as humanity's responsibility to care for and steward the creation. In conclusion, the mainstream media's treatment of global warming can be seen as a form of oppression against Christians who are often marginalized, caricatured, and silenced in the public debate. By perpetuating a simplistic, secular narrative that equates skepticism with ignorance and malice, the media reinforces a culture of fear, groupthink, and eco-spirituality that competes with traditional Christian values and principles. Christians must be aware of these dynamics and engage in a more nuanced, informed discussion about global warming, one that acknowledges the complexity of the issue, the diversity of perspectives within the Christian community, and the need for a more balanced, thoughtful approach to environmental stewardship.